Hello, how's it going? I'm Mari and I make travel videos, and I've been here in New Zealand for about 2.5 years now. I've traveled a lot around the country, and then I've been living in Christchurch on the South Island for a big portion of the time. So these are my favorite places that I've been and experienced, and just some of the things that I've really enjoyed doing here in New Zealand. Of course, I can't include everything because there's so many beautiful places here and great things to do. So these are just a select few of my favorites. Also, because I live on the South Island, I just really haven't gotten to experience tons of stuff on the North Island, so there is going to be more stuff on the South Island than the North. But that's not because I don't love the North Island. If you're not subscribed, then go ahead and subscribe right now. To start it off, my favorite day hikes. For me, one of the coolest things about New Zealand is that there's just so many hiking and walking and tramping opportunities. My top favorite day hike that I've ever done in New Zealand is the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. It's located on the North Island, and I just find it goes through so many different types of terrain. You see these massive mountains and volcanoes. You see the mountain that was the inspiration for Mount Doom in Lord of the Rings. There are these emerald lakes that are just so blue, so green, so beautiful. The weather, though, can be very fickle, and they don't let you actually go on the hike if the weather is looking too bad. So if you want to do it, just make sure you look at the weather. You might have to try a couple different days if the weather is not right on the first day you want to do it. But it's so worth it. My second favorite day walk is Abel Tasman. You can actually do a multi-day walk there as well, or you can do kind of a really pick your own adventure sized walk. So what it is, it's a track along the coast, really beautiful coastline with all these beaches along the way, and they have boats that you can take, and you can go out to any certain point and then walk however far you want, take a boat back, take a boat just one way. You can also do kayaking, but I think it's just so cool because it's really you can pick however long of a walk you want to do that you feel comfortable with. And it also includes a boat ride, and I love boats, so I really think it's a place that shouldn't be missed if you come to New Zealand. My favorite city in New Zealand, sorry Christchurch, I know I live here, but if I really want city vibes, my favorite city is Wellington. Wellington is actually a place I feel a lot of travelers don't go to, but I think it's a really cool city. It's really hip, has a lot of cafes, restaurants, tons of shopping, and it's just kind of quirky. There's a great museum there, Te Papa. It's right on the waterfront. Anyway, yeah, check it out. I think it's a cool city. Right. My favorite food. I'm just going to tell you a few of my select favorite places. The first one has to be Fairlie Bakehouse. This is a little bakery in the town of Fairlie on the South Island, and they make the best savory pies. New Zealand in general is known for its savory pies. However, I think Fairlie Bakehouse has by far the best ones I've ever had. My favorite one there is salmon and bacon. It sounds really weird, I know. Before I tried it, I was like, what? But I think it's so good. They have a lot of other good pies there. Definitely check it out if you're driving by. Coffee culture here in New Zealand is huge. People love a good flat white, so at least one cafe has to be included in this list. One of my favorites is C1 Espresso in Christchurch. I just think it's very unique, it's different, it has a good energy there, it's cool buzz, a lot of things to look at. It's also one of the cafes that stays open the latest in Christchurch. So if you're looking for a bite to eat or a coffee later on in the day, it's a good place to go. And my last food favorite in New Zealand is a kind of ice cream, and it's so good. It's Jappo in Auckland. If you've had it, I mean, you probably know. They just do the most insane creations. It's just kind of a whole experience when you go there. They don't let you look at the ice cream. They just give you samples and let you try it because they don't want the image of the ice cream to ruin your experience tasting it. I don't know, it's a whole thing, but it's really cool. They have a lot of different flavors. They're pretty sweet and it's kind of expensive, but I really think it's worth it. Okay, my favorite place to just do anything, it's gotta be Queenstown. Queenstown is known as the adventure capital of the world. It is a pretty touristy place, just be warned if you go there. I feel like there's the most density of tourists there than anywhere else. It's just kind of mental. But there's good reason for it. I think for one, it's so beautiful there. It's gorgeous. There's mountains all around, there's lakes. It's just so good. And then of course what it's known for is all the adventure stuff. So I've been bungee jumping, I've gone on the world's biggest swing, I've done zip lining. There's just so many things you can do like that. And then it's also just a really cool place to like go out and have drinks with friends. It's really bustling, a lot of things going on. So that's a win. My favorite multi-day hike that I've done has definitely got to be the Milford Track. It's a very iconic New Zealand walk. You go through all of the native bush and you see all these native plants and forests, and you go over a mountain and it's just breathtaking. Every step of the journey, you go on a lot of really cool suspension bridges, and it's just really nice to be out there in nature like that. And what's cool about that one is that they really limit the amount of people that can be on the track at one time, because you have to stay in the huts or do it through a private company. But so either way, there really aren't that many people out there. So when I did it, a lot of the time I was just walking by myself, and it was just so magical. My favorite unique experience that I've had in New Zealand is sleeping on Tiritiri Matangi. Tiritiri Matangi is a small little island off the coast of Auckland, and it's a nature preserve. It's become this kind of just sanctuary for birds and animals, and it's just really cool. So most people just go over on a day trip, but they actually do have one dock hut there, and you can go and stay the night, and then when all the day trippers have gone, you're only on the island with just a handful of other people, and you can go explore at night. I got to see kiwi at night in the native bush, and tuatara, and blue penguins, and the bioluminescence in the water. It was just really cool experience, so magical. So look into it if you're interested. My favorite places to chill. I really enjoy just chilling, hanging out. So New Zealand has so many good places for this. But my two favorite regions that I've been, the first one is the Catlins. The Catlins are also a place that not a lot of people go. They're at the very bottom of the South Island, and it's kind of the coastline down there. I think it's so beautiful. I don't know why more people don't go there, but also I think that's what makes it really good, is because there aren't tons of people. And there are just so many little beaches that you can explore and just hang out, and it's just really nice vibes down there. My other favorite part is the Marlborough Sounds. It's also just another coastline. This one is at kind of more the top of the South Island, and just so gorgeous. The sounds, I mean, so beautiful. And again, just so many little beaches you can stop at and so many places you can explore. I just feel like you could stay up there for so long and just hang out at a different beach every day and just live the good life. My favorite small town is Kaikoura. It's just wow. So it's one of those places where kind of like the mountains meet the sea. It's a tiny little town on this beach, but then right behind the beach is these dramatic mountains. A lot of times they have snow on them, and then just the contrast between these snowy mountains and this bright blue ocean is just unlike anything else that I've seen before. I would definitely make a stop there if you're coming to New Zealand. My favorite boating experiences? Well, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I love boats. My number one favorite boating experience was sailing in the Bay of Islands. The Bay of Islands are at the top of the North Island, and it's just this little area that has all of these bays and islands, and hence Bay of Islands. But the water is so clear. You feel like you're somewhere tropical, and there's just sailboats all over, and there's really cool little small towns like Russell. What a cool small town. My other favorite boating experience, this might definitely not be your favorite experience because a lot of people have bad times on it, but I had fun, and it's the ferry crossing from the South Island to the North Island. It really depends on the weather and what time of day you're going, because sometimes the crossing can be really rough, and I've heard of a lot of people getting seasick and they just have the worst experiences. My experience was very pleasant, but it was a really calm day. I thought the views were stunning. You go through the sounds. Looking out the window, I saw huge pods of dolphins kind of going along with the ferry, and then I saw an amazing sunset, and then coming into Wellington for the first time was just like, what? I really enjoyed it. So that's why it's one of my favorites. My favorite mountain! This one is really no contest. It's Aoraki Mount Cook. It's the tallest mountain in New Zealand, and I definitely think if you come here, it's worth going. There are a lot of walks to do around there. Most people do the Hooker Valley track that leads you to this lake that has actual icebergs in it. If you like hiking, there are tons of hikes to do around there. And there are huts that you can walk to and stay the night. I definitely recommend Mount Cook. My favorite saying in New Zealand is "Tu whisia te hopo." It's in Te Reo Māori and it means feel the fear and do it anyway, and I think it's just a really cool saying. If you are coming to New Zealand, I do recommend you learn some about the Māori culture. It's very interesting and a rich history, and it just gives you a fuller picture of New Zealand as a whole. My favorite beaches? Well, actually, I'm just going to start by saying there are way too many to mention. The cool thing about New Zealand is that it's made up of islands, so no matter where you are, you really don't have to drive that far before you hit a beach. You know, just drive to the nearest coast and you're going to be surrounded by beaches. A lot of them are just stunning, pristine beaches with no one else there. So there's so many beaches. But one of my favorites that I will mention is Piha Beach near Auckland. A lot of people who come to New Zealand, you're going to fly into Auckland or out of Auckland, so it's a good one to kind of hit on your way in or out. Piha has the classic New Zealand black sand, which is something that before I came here I was really looking forward to experience. So if you're in Auckland, I would definitely recommend a little drive out to the Piha area and check out some of those beaches. And my overall favorite thing in New Zealand, it's honestly just getting out on the open road and seeing where the adventure takes you. That's honestly what I spend a lot of time doing, and there's just so many experiences to be had. If you love the outdoors, it's such a good place to be. Just jump in the car, look to see where the weather is nice, and go there. I feel like every time I go somewhere new, I'm like, this is my new favorite place! I gotta end the video here, otherwise it's just gonna go on too long. So my best advice to you, if you're coming to New Zealand, is just get out there and explore and see it for yourself and just see what you find. So I hope you liked this video of some of my New Zealand favorites, and let me know in the comments what your favorite thing in New Zealand is. I'd love to hear it, and I think everyone else would as well. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!